What's happening? Romeo Radio, Heshy Tisler on the way. All right, let's not waste time. Let's get right into it. It's my good friend Heshy. Heshy, how are you? Neil, how are you?
Hello, Ralph, and thank you for allowing us to come on channel 930 WPAT Radio. And I would like to introduce my good friend for over almost 40 years.
Wow.
My voice of reason, the person who keeps me in control.
Is this your Ed Koch?
No, my friend.
I'm a big fan of it.
It's right.
But he was called the voice of reason.
Right,
Okay.
I know.
So Neil is my voice
He
of reason.
was really okay.
I would like to first thank you again, Ralph, and I would like to welcome all the listeners, all my future constituents,
Potential voters,
all the potential voters out there to join me for the next hour, and we will welcome your calls.
Please call in at 212-219-9695.
Beautiful.
Please make sure to call in. You have any questions, you want direct answers from the man himself, 212-219-9695.
Now, Neil, I started in the past. We had a show which was a little bit funny called the Just Enough Head Show, but I'm going to be serious here tonight. I'm going to tell a little story. I'm going to tell you a quote like I always start my shows, and I want my people to understand that I will be coming to you from my heart. I'm going to be telling you the truth. I'm going to be telling you what I feel, and sometimes people don't agree with it. So if you don't agree, no problem. I have no problem changing my direction. I have no problem listening to you. I have no problem understanding what your issues are because I've gone through it all. And I'm going to start my quote very simple. You don't build a reputation on what you're going to do. You build it by doing it to help what you did for others. I have a reputation, what I've done over the last 30-something years. I've helped people all my life. This is what I do. Now, I haven't been in actual politics, but I've been behind the scenes.
By the way, helping 100% as a volunteer and not with any organization, not with people that really need help directly.
I have people. I don't want to toot my own horn, Neil, but I guess
no. Yeah, you got to be straight.
Right.
Listen,
and on this
bottom line is, what do you do every Shabbos?
And I'm going
Where are you every Shabbos? I know where you are. I can go to this nursing home or that old age home or the hospital, and I'm going to see you. I'm going to see some of your children, and you're doing your thing. That's what you're doing.
Want to grab this call?
We're going to grab the call in a minute. I want to tell people a little bit about us, and before we take the call. My objective running for the City Council District of 44th is I do have competitors.
Who are you running against?
I'm running against a very nice gentleman by the name of Kalman Yeager. I met him a few times. We had some chulin together. We sat down Thursday night. We went out.
What's chulin?
Chulin is some kind of a dish that we serve on the Sabbath. But some of us go out Thursday night and we go to the restaurant. We have a bowl and we just chat around the table. No drinking. And I bumped into Mr. Yeager Kalman, which I'm going to call him a few times. Treated me nicely, and not only is he my competition, who understands that I'm actually running.
Mm-hmm.
He sees me. He accepts that I'm a competitor of his. There's another person in the race who doesn't even know that I exist, or he doesn't want to address the issue.
Doesn't want to
acknowledge that I'm a candidate.
He figures if he ignores you, you'll go away.
Right. And Ralph, I stood on the streets myself.
Mm-hmm.
I made sure that these signatures were there. I was not ready for one of the gimmicks that they always play to try to fight me. I got 3,000 of my neighbors to sign it. I knocked out myself 1,100 signatures because I wasn't sure. So I knew that I was on the ballot with 3,000 of my friends and neighbors. And not only did I do it step by step myself, I told people who I am. I addressed the issues while I was on the street. Now, the City Council District where I live I actually lived there for 40-something years. When I met Mr. Kalman Yeager, not Mr. Kalman, I liked him right away. He's a gentleman who is a lawyer.
Who is he? I'm
going to tell you. I'm going to tell you who my competitor is, and I'm not scared to tell you. And then I'm going to tell you who I am. He's a gentleman that has his issues. He has a 15-year-old son. He knows what it is to pay tuition. I'm not building my competitor up. What I'm telling you is that I appreciate fair competition, somebody that will address me and accept me. I have 89 nephews and nieces. My father came from the Holocaust by himself with 2 sisters. Burnt, lost 10 of his family members. One of them couldn't have children, the other one had 2, and we built our family again. Not only do I have 89 nephews and nieces, we took in children, over 20 of them in our house, who call me pops and grandpa and everything of that nature. And I'm proud of these children.
Sure.
Okay, I've taken them to college, to schools. We have a young girl now that I never had a daughter, and we're paying for her tuition because she's like one of us. My children, and as the call before the Jewish New Year, I got everybody calling me, wishing me, pops, grandpa, Heshy, how you doing? Uncle Heshy. Most people call me Uncle Heshy, and you're all welcome to do that because I am your Uncle Heshy. And I'll always be, my policy will be my open door policy when I become councilman. I will have my door open like it's open today. My office, people walk in and they sit themselves down and do whatever they want. We make them a friendly atmosphere.
You try to have a conversation with any other politician on the street, and you know what you get? Call my office and we'll make an appointment.
I call people back. Yeah. My phone rings from 4:35 in the morning when I used to take care of my mother. She just passed away about 90 days ago. Till like 12 at night. We have people coming to my house when I get up. But my point that not only am I having the open policy, Kalman, after my children called me, my last call was like 5:30. I got a call, and I wasn't really going to pick up the phone because I was helping my wife, and Kalman Yeager called me. And he says, Heshy, how are you? He wished me. He says, I want to tell you, I don't want to talk about the race. I want to just wish you a happy new year. And I want to wish you good luck in this race. And whoever wins, that's what he tells me, that I just want you to know that I like you and competitive. And I said, Kalman, once I accept you as a friend of mine, you become one of my family. And I said, Kalman, even though I'm going to win the race, you are still mine forever. And I like him. I'm better looking than him. He's a handsome young man, but I am better looking. I did address it. And I want you to know that phone call that Mr. Yeager made me happy. I enjoyed my new year. I looked up to the heavens.
You're dealing with a mensch, like they say.
I'm dealing with a gentleman that understands what it is, the community thinks. Now I'm going to tell you about my community. People are so worried about taxes, which I am worried about. People are worried about issues that have nothing to do with our community. I am the man whose hands is in the dirt. I'm the one who goes to the hospitals. I'm the one that if you need a blanket or a bowl of soup, I'm the one who packages those packages for a company called Sheves Achim, an organization that we feed 92 families every single week, and we have to raise hundreds and hundreds of dollars daily, thousands of dollars really. And he's on my schedule. Yes, I do care about people in jail who are inmates, their families. I don't want to hear the story why. Their families don't need to be punished, and we try to help them. So ladies and gentlemen out there, you want to hear the history of me? I know the building department that finds us without permission and changes the laws. I know the city when they give sanitation tickets down the street. And I'm going to tell you a story. About a year ago, a little more than a year and a half ago, I was fighting the sanitation for a school. And this lying lady sanitation person called the cops and says, I touched her. I had 13 witnesses. The police department didn't even want to address the issue. They arrested me. And this lady proved it. I proved she's a liar. And you know what bothers me all? Not only do I have the affidavits, not only did I win the case and I won the sanitation ticket, but the legal fees costing me thousands of dollars to fight it. But my councilman that I called 19 times didn't pick up my call.
Who was that?
David Greenfeld. So fine, I called, who did I call? My buddy, Dov Heikind, who my sons supposedly helped in an election. Dov, there's a camera on my corner. It says NYPD, which I don't even know how it says NYPD because it doesn't belong to the police.
What do you mean it doesn't?
It belongs to Dov Heikind. He put it up.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
I can't go put up cameras wherever I want.
And it says NYPD. So here's what happened. So I called his office. Please give me the video. It's on my block. This way he could prove my innocence. 10 calls, no return. Finally, I called one of the liaisons who owed me a favor, a friend of mine from the police, and he went down to his office.
Oh, finally you decided to work politics?
Politics. I went outside. I went to call in favors. And what did I do? What did he do? Sometime. Finally, the day before I was supposed to go into jail, he goes back. He says, oh, they told me the camera wasn't working and it was situated wrong. I said, listen to me. I drive down Ocean Parkway at 31 miles an hour. I get a ticket. I park in front of a bus. I get a ticket. I have no problem being punished. This man who has cameras all over, supposedly, couldn't give me the video.
But how could it be
and the best part was my councilman went on the radio the next day or the next 2 days and made fun. Says, you know what? Sanitation's coming down the next few days down the avenue. Don't interfere. Look what happened to that guy. You don't want to interfere. Let them give the tickets. Unacceptable.
Wow.
We will fight them. I fight the building department. They changed the laws without telling us. You know, in my city, in my borough park right now, they ripped up about 30 streets. Just ripped up. Now, somebody tells me, well, Heshy, they informed the tenants, the landlords. It's not true. I was one of them. They did not inform. There's no way that there's 200-300 homeowners that did not know that the city's ripping up their streets. They ripped up the streets and they poured the concrete back all in 2 weeks. It's costing people $15-$20 a square foot. Do you know how many thousands of dollars the city's going to charge them with interest, 9%. Now, besides that, forget that it was all done in 2 weeks. You should have seen these guys rip it up, move the concrete, 6 inches of concrete, putting it back together, removing the rubbish. Boom, beautiful job. Don't get me wrong. Now, my park that I play baseball in with special children for the last 15 years, the last 2 years I couldn't play because my councilman allowed them to rip up my park. 2 years they were shut down. Yes, it's opened up now. They made a beautiful $2 million bathroom. You know, I used to be a contractor. If I would ever charge $2 million for a bathroom, am I just crazy in my head? But anyways, they finally opened the park.
The house is attached to the bathroom.
I guess the gold things. But now he takes credit for it, our councilman. Beautiful, you did a well job. Now they ripped up another park on Avenue F that's going to take another 2 years, another $2 million bathroom. Nobody's watching this, but they stand in front of the park. So look what we did for you. Let me tell you something, my friend. For $2 million, I can build you a duplex toilet bowl in a tree, okay, with a beautiful gold toilet bowl. So don't tell me what you're going to do.
Friend, that $2 million toilet without toilet paper ain't worth even $1.
But I want to get away a little bit from my issues. I want to address issues, and I'm going to let you guys call in 2 minutes. And Neil, you're going to also tell me about some things that I'm not happy about. But my issues in my neighborhood is parking. We have a big issue in parking. I've come up with a 3-point plan on how, instead of that I understand from the gossip that our councilman now is going to give away our sanitation to some kind of a school or whatever to build housing, which we're not going to get for the low income housing. It's going to be for different people. Another guy a couple of years ago, by Mr. Collar, he wanted to build houses above the railroad. I mean, I'm a contractor. Let's be honest. The billions of dollars that he's going to have to build for the vibrations, for the security. I mean, the safety, people are going to get hurt.
But
it's stupid.
The government gives them the money
but
for it.
But the money could be used for better places. My 3-point plan in parking was to take the sanitation and create 3,000 new spots. Create for all the buses that take up hundreds of spots in my neighborhood, create a special parking spot for them. Then we're going to do a park and ride. That means you park your car in from Flatbush or Borough Park at this central location, and buses will take you up 13th, 14th, 15th Avenue, Avenue J, Avenue M, no charge. Just park your car and you pay for it. It's like a municipal parking. And we're going to lower traffic. Instead of the little brownie or traffic cops giving tickets, no, you're going to stand on the street and move traffic along. You're going to get paid to do the job that you're supposed to get paid for, not to issue tickets and get us in trouble and run down every 12 minutes to fight out tickets. I want to make a system where the consumers enjoy the 13th Avenue, where the store owners
treated like consumers.
Where we're treated, where you go to you don't walk into a store and have to run out like a crazy person. You're right, there'll be pickup locations and places to get your car, but it'll be easier now. You know, I have to drive something across Borough Park to Flatbush. Like tonight, I had to pick up. It took me an hour to travel with you.
Ridiculous.
A 10-minute ride.
Crazy.
But that's one of my issues.
1 minute. But let's talk the truth now. There's been a lot of work. Now, Ocean Parkway is a popular thoroughfare in the area. There's been a lot of changes gone on over there with lights and lanes and turnings and stuff. And I got to tell you, whoever makes these rules, and I'm talking by Prospect Park also, they made changes over there. They don't use a car, period.
They have no idea. They have no idea what's going on.
It's all on paper.
And when I heard
there's no way that a normal, sane person who drives, you don't even have to be that intelligent. You just have to be a driver. That's it. Pass a driver's license, and you're capable to tell us that, hey, what'd you do here? You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like the best idea out there to put like the turning lane. Right. You know, the turning arrow. Why is it only every 10 blocks or whatever on Ocean Park? Why isn't it every corner? Why? Why isn't it all over?
But don't make a turn.
And by the way, and no more 4-way stop signs. I want lights. These people are not capable of driving. Yes,
four-way stops are ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Everybody waits for everybody else.
Right.
Nobody goes.
And then there's one animal who always goes.
That's right. So everybody's going to stop. I may as well go.
But I have other issues.
Lights. See, there's my point. The government has to control somewhat, but there's a point where they overstep.
Sure.
And I think things like traffic, things that where it involves the whole population, whether it's the transit system or anything else, so they got to look out for us and make it easy.
Of course.
Like, because, hey, not everyone has that great IQ.
But I'd like to get to the next issue now. Forget those turning lanes, which I heard that Mr. Hyken, our assemblyman, wanted one for his street, and they didn't give him one. I mean, that's the gossip I actually hear from the contractor himself, because I'm the guy in the street. But now they've tripled and quadrupled the fines on building homeowners. And they've hired 200 new inspectors just in the last month who don't even know what they're doing, half of them, because I meet them in the street. Plumbing guys who don't even know how to open a boiler cover. And they fail you. The first thing is they must fail you. That's the first thing they do. Then you have to come back. The politics of getting a plans approved takes 8 or 10 months in the building department, but they can hire 9 inspectors to go to one job and issue $14,000 in violations without approval from the community. Without approval. They don't allow us to correct our violations quickly enough when we submit the paperwork, so they keep refusing it. We get more fines. The punishments that they're giving us, these inspectors are supposed to help us. I want to tell you a story. I was by a guy who ran a beautiful, gorgeous construction job. Not one mistake. Cleanliness, spick and span. The inspector came, for some reason, had something up his behind and tortured him every day. Couldn't get him. One day, the supervisor got a headache. And at 4:30, he closed up the shop. And he left. And he left his workers to pack up, and he locked up the plans. Inspector saw it. Ran inside, said, "Where's the plans?" They said, the boss just left, you know it. He says, "Well, I'm stopping the job." He says, "But the plans are locked in the room. You know it. You're here every day. I don't care." He stopped the job and gave him a $5,000 penalty. Now, I went to the commissioner. I said, "Frank," I said, "Mr. Marciano," I said, "this is incorrect." He says, "Well, the guy shouldn't have got a headache." I said, "But it's your job to help us." No, I'm not jeopardizing my job. These are the answers I get. You stand in line for hours, but they have inspectors coming out there torturing us, and they're supposed to be advising us how to do it correctly. And said, "No, we're going to give." And here's my best story. I had a guy who got a violation, and he did some work without a permit. He got the permits. He legalized the job. We called the building department up. They opened the job. Another inspector shows up a week later. He says, "Well, I didn't give you permission to open the job." I says, "But the borough did. Look, here's the paper, full rescind." He says, "I didn't give it to you. I'm giving you another $5,000 penalty. Go to court." Now, I have a choice. If I don't pay the $5,000, we don't go back to work for a week and a month and a half. If we pay the $5,000, we go to court. Most likely, even if we win, we won't get the refund or the paperwork just to do it. This is the city problems. And my thing is I want to fight the red tape for you. I do this every day. We have another problem. Everybody's all involved with this moisdes, the schools. I care about schools. I opened up 3 schools. There was a school recently, a year and a half ago, that had 300 kids on the street, I swear. Every day the principal came to me. They went to other people. They couldn't open the school. I went there with pain, and I made them go into compliance. And I fought with them, and I argued with them, and I brought inspections and fixed their plans. I got 300 kids back in school last year. Opening day this year for them, they invited me there to speak to the children. They clapped. I felt the power of learning children. We have problems that our schools don't have aftercare programs like the public schools. We're all worried about money, but what about the after-school programs of the parents that do work?
Aren't you on the school choice?
I'm on the school choice party, and that's my main issue here is that I'm running as an independent.
One of the biggest issues?
Tuition. The tuition, but I didn't get to tuition.
And you're on the school.
We have a problem that
you can help them.
We have children who can't pay the tuition. They're thrown out of school, or they stand in the hallways. Not only that, we have no help, even though they say they got vouchers. I don't know. They all keep telling me they did stuff for the kids, but I'm listening to children that are calling my office. I'm an independent, normal, private citizen that people are helping me get me into school. Can you advise me? Can you get me a lawyer? Can you help me fight it? You know, these are the issues that I'm fighting. I want an aftercare program. I go out sometimes at nighttime when I volunteer or go to the youth care. We have a special place called 1225. that takes young children and gives them GED programs, a place to hang out, a place to talk to them. Sometimes I sit there with my cigarette, which is a bad thing. I'm also addicted to cigarettes, so I'm going to quit. Don't worry about it. I'm telling my wife, my beautiful wife of 27 years, Highlander. I don't know why you're still with me. You're just a wonderful woman. But thank you so much for putting up with all my stuff. I'm going to let you all call in 1 minute. But we need a program to take those kids off the street and give them GED programs, to get them into college. We need jobs for these children when they get married. We have no jobs. We have no housing. Somebody today commented to me on the WhatsApp, well, let them move to Jersey. Let them move out of town. Are you kidding me? I want my children to live with me. I raised my children. I watched them every inch. The stuff going on out there for your children, grandchildren are dangerous. I want my babies next to me. I'm going to tell you a story. My son, a couple of years ago, found an older man who died in a Cavalier Hospital in the Bronx, and they were going to cremate the body. And my son comes crying to me. He was 19 years old at the time. And he said to me, Hesh, what are you doing? I mean, my son says to me, Ta, we can't let this happen. I said, but Avram, it's not my job, the money. I don't want to hear he's crying. So what? We raised the money. We buried this gentleman, and we hired a rabbi. And I remember at the cemetery, the rabbi says, which 19-year-old kid goes out of his way, helps his sister, an old lady, and helps us bury him and forces his father to do it? This is what we have to teach our children. By not helping our children, we had 2 girls last year that committed suicide. I don't even know why. I have no idea. It kills me. I see children hanging out on the street in the middle of the night.
You're talking about right in your community?
In my community, people don't believe it's in the Jewish community. We have that. People don't think we have drug problem. We have a very serious drug problem. I went to testify for somebody in court. The judge says, Mr. Tischler, do you have a drug problem in your community? I was going to say no. I was going to lie to the judge. Hey, Jews, we don't do that.
Yeah.
But the truth is we do have. And we have a very serious issue, and we don't stop it. Why don't we have after programs for the drug people? Why aren't we watching our children? Why don't we have a company that called Sparks that does postpartum depression for women? We have a very serious issue which we're not addressing. These are issues that are right now. It's not tomorrow. It's not your taxes. One of my competitors, which I'm not going to recognize, says, I want to be your partner. I'm not looking to be anybody's partner here. I'm not looking to be your leader in this community.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with it.
I know. I am looking to guide you. You fathers and mothers, you're the leaders of your families.
Right.
You've raised them. You've done good jobs. You've struggled. I'm here to guide you when you have a problem. People come into my office, they cry, they have issues, they're arrested. I had another gentleman who was fighting with a tenant this week, arrested. Before Yontavi called me, I advised him how to go to a lawyer. I told him what the procedure is. I told him I'll be there to help bail him out. I'll walk him through. He says his councilman didn't call him back. Nothing. I am upset. Why am I taking calls? And I'll tell you why. Because I love my community. I love my friends. My children tell me, Ta, why are you running for office? All you're going to do is make yourself headaches. You're doing well. You're finally out of the hole. You're finally paying your bills. You're doing well. Ta, don't do this. I said, but Avram, these people, my competitors or the other politicians, they need this job. They want a salary. They need something to do. I don't need the job. I want this job. I know I can help more people. I don't need to get money or ego. I want this job so I can help and do
get
more.
Stuff done.
I want stuff done.
Regular people living in the neighborhood that have these quirks with the city, with the state, whatever it is, and they can't resolve it because nobody's out there who really wants to help them. They send you to an office, and that's about it. It gets as far as that. And that's it.
Do you know there's 312 government agencies? You have the DOB, the DOT, the DEP.
Oh, don't list all of them,
I'm just going down the list. And to go to each one, they make you crazy. I'm learning how the red tape is. I have a history of fighting these people, and they're coming after me. And you're right, sometimes I believe the stories, and I will put myself through fire. I will go down for my friends, my clients, my neighbors. I have gone down for them. Do I regret the mistakes I've made in the past? Oh, yes. Sometimes I say to myself, I put my family through doing good stuff and trusting other people, and I got punished for it. I'm a dumbbell. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, your future councilman, when I get elected, I made mistakes. Oh, I've made so many mistakes over the last 40 years, you won't believe it. When my father died at 13 years old, before he died, I had a direction. I knew I had it all. He came from the fires. He was a powerful man. He did good for everybody, religious. I knew I had the life. I was going to college. I had it all. When he died at 13, I was lost. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know which direction to go in. I was put in charge of my family at 13 years old. I had a half brother, 21 years old, who stole all our money and left us homeless and penniless. And I rebuilt my mother's money. I've worked to raise my two younger brothers and my Down syndrome sister. Yes, I know what Down syndrome is. I had my children volunteer with autistic children. And then after my brothers were married and I took care of them, I raised another family. And I took care of foster children. I've been in the streets. I know drugs. I know squalor. I know people living in poor. I know when me and Linda, my beautiful wife, lived on a mattress when we first moved in and suffered. I said, Linda, why are you moving in with me? She says, I love you. I said, you're going to suffer. She says, I don't care. Loving a fellow person is beautiful. I have a lady we go visit every week, a wonderful, delicious, holy woman. And she doesn't need me to come. She doesn't need me there. She has her children. But every week I come, her smile just brightens the room. We come now, instead of me alone, I come with like 4, 5, 7 of us. And she just smiles and loves me. And if I don't come a weekend, she gets angry at me. She's delicious. And it's many places like this. We must help our fellow man. Again, I don't want to be your partner. Right. I'm not telling you already that I won the election, which I do believe I feel I could win. One of my competitors already posted an ad, Ralph, so cute in one of the papers. I am your councilman, vote for me. You're not your councilman.
We got a couple of calls that said, can I speak to Councilman Tischler?
I'm not the councilman
they're anticipating. Now, do you want to have them hold? Do you want to take them now?
No, we're going to, Neil, are we ready for questions?
Because we've had about, now, by the way, anybody that has called, call us back because we lost a few, 212-219-9695. I have 2 people on the line for Heshy and Neil right now. And speak one at a time. Let's get the first one up. Who do we have with the question?
Hello?
Who do we have on the line with the question?
Heshy, it's your dear friend Eli.
Hello, Eli. How are you?
Baruch Hashem. My bracha is, before we start that question, my bracha is that you, many years I've known you, you are the perfect person for the councilman position.
That's
my bracha. You should be the councilman.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Eli.
Now, here's my bracha. Here's my question. How are you going to deal with yeshivas that have bullying? That's a very big problem. Bullying is a very big problem, and words can hurt a child.
Yes, Eli, and that's a good question, and I'm going to answer this question. Thank you for your call, Eli. Here's what my thing is. A couple years ago, there was a school that had some issues in my neighborhood with child molestation with a rabbi, and I wasn't too happy about it. And this Rabbi Applegrad, matter of fact, he was the principal at the time, caused a lot of issues for our people, and he threatened the kid. And I wouldn't let this Rabbi Applegrad, who prayed with me in my synagogue, I used to scream at him. I wouldn't let him pray with me. I said, you're worse. You're worse by letting this rabbi get away with it. You're going to throw out my kid from that school? Oh, no. And I wouldn't let him go on with it. So I came up with an idea. Back then, it was my idea, nobody else's idea, that no rabbi could be alone in a classroom with a child. No child could be alone in a classroom with a rabbi. It has to be 2 children and a rabbi, and there should be cameras all over. Now, the bullying issue is correct. We do have that issues in school. But we should have more monitoring. Again, we should have children. We should have more adult supervision on these classrooms. After class, there's nothing I could do about after school.
But okay, but just remember, when you have a kid who's a bully, you got to check with the parents.
Right. Most of the rabbis know about it, and it should be addressed.
Most kids, especially, the youngest,
right. And when these complaints come in, this child should be monitored more. Mm-hmm. And the child that's being bullied should be addressed more and be more accompanied. Just like if he needs special programming and learning issues. We have a lot of schools, like my son's school doesn't have a lunch program. I have to pay extra for it. You think I'm not paying enough as it is? And I get a scholarship and I get a discount. And now I have to pay for lunch. And you guys think it's cheap buying every day $10, $15, or $7. We must address these issues. We must address our school children. We must watch molestation. We must have those teachers and rabbis better trained and watched. Go ahead.
You're on the line. What's your question? What's your name? Number one. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Ellie. I got cut off.
Well, Ellie, we had a question. We wanted to get to somebody else. Ellie, let's try. Do you have one more question? You can ask another question. Go ahead.
Well, that's my whole concern, is basically the bullying and how to deal with it. Because bullying leads to a lot of things, drugs and alcohol. It's just we have to have the schools and the teachers trained not to push, in order, for them not to get give them inspiration instead of putting the children down. Because one bad word does a lot of damage.
Ellie, I agree with you, Ellie. And again, these are in-house issues with yeshivas, which I will address. I will send out a message to the yeshivas that I'd like to speak their principals. I'd like to see what's going on there. And if they're not going to cooperate with me, I will look into a lot of their runnings of the yeshivas. And I want better education. I want better after-hour programs to my children, whether it's a Hasidic yeshiva or not. Now, I'm not going to force any curriculum on them, of course not. But I want my children, when they come out of school, that they get jobs. We have an issue in our neighborhood that some of these children come out of school and they have no jobs. I have ideas how to get jobs. Work with different homeowners and store owners and developers and business owners and government agencies. Teach people to get licenses by the city. You could be, right, simple stuff. You can get yourself an expediter's license, a process server's license. So many licenses to government just to be a sprinkler watcher or to be a fire guard. You could make a good living if you get the proper courses under your belt. You don't have to go to college for it. If you did, you could get a higher level of this. You can make a nice salary. You don't have to work for $10, $15 an hour. You can make $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. Our young girls could go to nursing schools and become PAs. They can make $100,000 a year. We need a way to train our children with of course, to be within their religious atmosphere, to make sure they don't get jeopardize that. But again, we need a way to train them. We need housing. I know a way to create more housing. Change the zoning. You know what, Neil, on East 19th Street about 3-4 years ago, they were walking down the street. I'm telling you, this is a true story. And they wanted to change the zoning in Flatbush. And they said, well, this block has 4 big buildings. We're going to upgrade the zoning. This block has not so many big buildings. We're going to downgrade it. That's not the way it works.
No, that's not.
The community votes it. We say it. We argue it. When you have a homeless project coming in there, you all stand up and scream. Why aren't we fighting the city and changing the rules? Somebody today complained on WhatsApp, oh, you're making these ugly houses with no parking. No, these new developments that are going up are pretty, and we'll force them into creating parking. We can do underground parking. If a developer wants to make money, we'll make a little bit less, create the underground parking, or make your building a little smaller. But we're going to ask you to do it voluntarily. We're not going to force you into it. But if you don't do it, we'll make sure that, we won't allow you to continue to build or you've broken your rules. You're going to have to follow certain rules and regulations that we will implement, but not stand up and change the laws without the people of the community. Now, I want to ask you one more thing, ladies and gentlemen out there, and this is straight out of me personally being upset. Why don't we have we have a beautiful program that feeds the poor also, besides my Mr. Rabbi Fish from the Sheva Zachem that feeds on it. We have Masbia that has like a little restaurant. They feed the poor. They give out programs. Why do we only have one? Why don't we have more? Why isn't our city councilmen putting together in different communities places where we treat our poor people? Why do we have homeless? About 3 weeks ago, I had a homeless man knock on my door. I have nowhere to go, Heshy. And my wife is looking at me. I said, Linda, do we have food? And Linda says, listen, I married you for 27 years. I always have extra food with you. The kids just come. These are the things we have to concentrate on. You're busy with taxes and partnerships and no left turning lanes and parks, which are very nice. What about where my children have to live? $2,700 a month rent for an apartment plus electric and heat that I cannot afford? Please, go ahead.
All right, we have two callers. Who do we have on the line here? Hello?
Ralph.
Hey, Norman. How are you, Norman?
I'm fine. How are you, Ralphie?
I'm doing great. Now, Norman, you have your man here. You haven't talked to him in about 50 years here. He's sitting right here.
Well, Norman, just know that I need your address.
Say that again, Neil?
I need your address.
My address?
You'll give it to us after the show. How are you, Norman?
Well, listen, Neil, you could ask Ralph for my telephone number, and I'll give you any kind of information you want. Ralph?
I'm here, Norman.
Oh, did Neil hear what I said?
Yeah, he did. He's right here.
Okay, so I'll say hello, Neil. How are you?
Great. It's good to hear your voice.
You know what, Neil? I did try to call multiple times.
Norman, we're on a very time constraint. So I just want questions today. So because we have another 25 minutes, and I want people to call in and listen to my issues. Let's talk about a question.
Norman, it sounds like he hasn't been on the air for a while. He has a lot to say.
Anyways, everybody can call in at 212-219-9695. Now, Neil, my problem here is that I believe in family. I believe in that families have to stick together. Sure, we have broken families, we have bigger families that get married and split up, and the families grow. We need a way to encourage families to stick together, to help them through their troubled times. Family, people make fun of me on this, but family to me is the most important thing. I will go through fire for families. And, we have an issue in our neighborhood with a get. Sometimes a husband doesn't give a get. Yes, this is an issue. And I have a divorce. And I have a solution to it. Why didn't our city council make a rule that if you don't give the get, not only do you lose, pay fines and jail, which they do give it sometimes with a judge, but also you lose your driver's license. You lose other privileges of not giving this get. Also, when you get married, right now in the religious community, we're trying to do a prenup that you must give a get. You give this prenup that if the woman asks for it, you give the get. There are so many things that our community is not addressing, and we're looking at foolish things that we need to take care of our children. People are laughing now. Yes, now is the issue. I'm not worried about tomorrow or next week because right now my hands are falling apart. I'm having an issue. Anybody on the line for us?
All right, we have another question from another caller. What's your name?
My name is Norman. It's been Norman for the last 74 years.
Norman, we just have to take a couple of questions. We just have an hour on the air, Norman. But call me off the air. Do you have a question for Hesh?
I'm Heshy's adversary, and I don't think anybody in their right mind should vote for Heshy.
Norman, thank you so much. Again,
all right. Who do we have on the line? Anybody here? You're on the line. What's going on?
What is that? 212?
Your question. Are you there? All right.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
It doesn't make a difference.
Anyway, if anybody wants to call in, 212-219-9695.
By the way, everybody, my office number, I work with Green Line Building Solutions. My office number is 718-871-0382, and I help everybody with their building violations and fire department violations and plans and permits. And when you can't get your C of Os or you can't sell your houses, I'm there to walk you through it. Some people say, well, Heshy, that's your living. You should be happy the city is punishing these people more. No, I'm not happy. I want to have easier job. I want to help people get through the day easier. I want to guide them to an easier life, and I can make more money that way. More jobs coming in. I can do so much more for my community. If you need help, you call me. You know how many people today, I had a father call me about his son-in-law. He needs a job. Right away, I called up 2 contractors. I said, this young man needs a job. Give him a start. Give him a shot at the building. And Neil, a couple of years ago, I was working in the toilet program in the projects. And a young man, African-American, came over to me. He says, Heshy, he asked me my name. He says, I sell drugs. I need a job. I said, what do you want from me? He says, you're giving out jobs. Give me a job. I said, but I'm really fully staffed. He says, if you don't give me a job, I'm going to go back to sell drugs. I'm going to go back to jail. I took out $50 from my pocket. I said, go buy yourself a pair of boots and gloves and come report to me tomorrow. He was on a work release program. He brought me 52 of his men. He came and testified for me what I did for him. He stood there with me and he saw what I was able to do. His probation officer loved me. When there was a Jewish boy locked up in Jersey, I got him released to work release and then released to me in New York. These are the things we have to do for our neighbors. This is what our councilmen and assemblymen are supposed to do. Not get up in the council and the assembly and scream about Israel. I love Israel. Don't get me wrong. I love Israel with all my heart. But I stand now for my neighbors.
Aren't you just there?
I was there for my mother's funeral, yeah. I mean, to bury her. But besides that, I've had good times and bad times. This year was a good year for me. My 2 sons got married in January and May. Yes. Neil, you had a granddaughter. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Okay. My mother passed away, who was 93 years old, who stood by me all those years. Yes, me and my mother fought. Me and my mother were adversaries. We argued about different things.
That was their language.
Right. But we came back. And before she died, she said to me, Heshy, I want you to do one thing for me. Just one. besides I had to bury where she had to go. She said, I want you to do one thing. I want you to continue to do good. I said, Ma, I'm finished. I'm done. I'm 53 years old. I'm done with this. I'm done doing anything. I'm already married off my children. I have one more at home. I think I'm going to do pretty good this year with money-wise so I can get out of the hole. Let me retire. Let me finish this up. And my mother says, why? Now is the time where you could use your experience to help the other people. All these years you went to fight for them. Now you use it. Now is when you have the power to do so with all the friends and all your contacts and all the people that you need. When somebody needs a favor from me, they know they can call me in the middle of the night. I pick up the phone and I get them. I can go bail you out of jail. I went to Cornell Hospital last week when somebody was taken in. I spoke to the doctor and I took them home and I placed them somewhere. I help the Syrian community. I help the African American community. I work with the Muslim community. I work with the Jewish community. I work with the Catholic community. I've helped open up a public school in the last month that had a vacate order for their children. I helped 3 schools last year. I want to toot my horn because you people have to know who Heshy is.
Right.
We have Moishe. Moishe, what's your question?
I'd like to know what's happening with the third person. Heshy says there's only 2 people running. I know of a third person running.
Okay, Marsha, and I will answer that question. Kalman, the third person is Dov Heiken's son, who did not acknowledge that I even exist. He's I'm not going to knock him. He's a young, beautiful man.
No, that's it. He's running. Period.
But I have to say something. Why I'm more qualified. I just want to say why I'm more qualified.
There's no doubt you're more qualified. Nobody's even asking. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Moishe, anything else? Follow-up question?
I want to address an issue that was brought before the assembly. There's some kind of a law that when a child molested, we want to, of course, you're supposed to sue the person for everything he's owned, whoever molested a child. And I believe he should be punished like you've never seen before. But 30 or 40 or 50 years later, they're allowing you to sue the school. Now, these are new administration, new children, new things. It's a new thing. They tried to pass it in the assembly. Dov Heiken tried to do that. I didn't go through, but he wasted our time and money and putting this bill through it instead of addressing. I know they had to fight for the 5-cent garbage bags or whatever, plastic bags, another waste of our time. But this is a law that's foolish. How do you ruin a school that's 50 years later with new administration, new children, to bankrupt them and put them on the street? Somebody tells me, well, all our classes are overcrowded. That's not true. Today, with the new programs and the new curriculum, a lot of the classes are down to 20 kids.
By the way, with the you mentioned about the nickel for the
plastic bags, yeah.
How silly that is.
Right.
Because if you want them to switch, just change the law. You can't use it anymore. That's it. What do you have to make believe there's a nickel involved?
Yeah, we had a whole show about that. It's pretty horrendous.
Right. And you know what? I like Simcha Felder, but he wasted our money by sitting in the Senate, fighting it, not fighting it, approving it. What kind of stupidity is this? Yeah. Stop it. You have so many other issues. We have billions of dollars in budgets that have to be passed, money that has to be issued to the right places, parkings, stopping the fining.
212-219-9695.
And just limit it to one question. Make it a good one, and we'll get you right on the air. 212-219-9695. Go ahead.
Yeah, make it realistic. Something practical.
My competitors have websites with their first and last name, and some friendly newspaper advertises for them, and they don't understand the issues. The issues are us, the people itself. The people that are struggling to pay our tuitions.
The people that have the roots of the trees clogging that toilet.
Right. Somebody.
And then they want to charge you who knows how much. And when the gas company has to put a replacement pipe, and they say, well, we got to put a 4-inch in now instead of a 3.
All right, caller, what's your question?
Before you go on, caller, do you know that the city now...
We have somebody new.
Okay, go ahead, somebody new. Go ahead, ask your question.
What's your question?
Just to clarify, Simcha fought the backside. He wasn't for it. He was against it.
Against it, for it, but it said in the Senate
what?
Against what? To what I understood is it was in the newspapers for months, and nobody made this go away. The law almost passed. So
he made a law that the city cannot.
He made that law. Please don't tell me, because you better start showing me proof of him getting up instead of screaming about Israel and all that. I did hear something that Simcha was against it, but the law almost passed.
Do you like Simcha? Do you like Simcha, Felder?
Simcha is a nice boy. He's a nice boy. He's a gentleman. I have problems with a lot of his issues. I have a problem that he hasn't supported anybody for the city council. Why isn't he picking a candidate? We are supposed to stand behind somebody. I don't care if it's me or Kalman Yeager. You stand. You're one of us. You've been part of this community for 30, 40 years. Pick somebody that will represent this community. Don't go hiding all the time and waiting for something to go on. You know, a lot of my competitors take pictures with the Satmar Rebbe and the Bobova Rebbe and all these rabbis. You know, I've been taking those pictures. I don't know who's putting their names on those little cards there or the posters, but when I go see the Tosha Rebbe or the Satmar Rebbe, they never told me they supported my competitors. Okay? I just don't understand it. I really don't. But that's fine.
Who's going to be your chief of staff?
What did you ask?
Who's going to be your chief of staff if you win?
So you're very busy already now. Who's going to be my chief of staff? I have a very qualified, competent person that will be my chief of staff, and I've already chosen the staff around me. And I'm going to make sure the one thing that I'm going to do is first get rid of the district leader, Sharon Fuchs. She is a waste of time. I'm going to get rid of the next district leader that has no experience. You do not have a right. I'm 53 years old not to be there. But let's forget about that. I want changes in my community board. I want everybody changed. I want a clean sweep. I want new personnel. I want people in there that are going to think outside the box to help our community. I actually want to fire every commissioner at the Department of Buildings. I know it's a dream that's never going to happen.
No, but tell us, like, what kind of, give me an issue or two that's really irking you.
What's irking
me? The community.
Really. I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. When I drive down the streets, we have problems with buses and garbages. Now, many times, my garbage man recently at 4 or 5 in the morning has come by. They sneak in so they don't have to take all the garbage. You know, there's a new law now that I don't even know about, that I just found out about. They don't take electronic goods. They don't take your television if you throw it out. You have to call a car service or deliver it to the Salvation Army. So these garbage trucks know how to sneak in and not take your garbage. Then the sanitation guy comes 2 hours later and says, hey, man, are you getting $100 ticket? You know, Dov Heiken stands every year with his garbage can. Look, before Passover, look, I'm going to get you extra garbage pickup. What do you mean extra garbage pickup? That's a must in our neighborhood. It's a fact that should have been put into policy procedure 25 years ago. We had a big snowstorm a couple of years ago when David Greenfield got elected. I called his office 3 days. He wasn't to be found. Me and my sons and their friends, we dug up 20 streets ourselves. And I wanted to call his office to see if he needed help to dig up other people. Nobody was there to pick up my call. You know, I recently went to a baseball game that they had between the Shomerim and the watch group and the police. They had nice 30, 40, 50 people show up. My regular Friday baseball game before they closed my park, I used to have 50, 60. I had 30 kids playing with me. I love the Shomerim, good organization. I love Hatzalah. These are the organizations we have to back. Chaverim, I was one of the first people to give donations when they opened up. Organizations that were promised money by David Greenfield and they never got it. Yes, they have to fill out the forms. They almost got it. Why didn't you fill it out, David? They don't know the ropes. They are busy taking care of us. I'm upset with our previous councilman. There's so much that he could have done, but all I do is I remember him getting up in the city council screaming about Israel. Scream about Borough Park. Scream about Flatbush. Scream about the old people that are sitting in their houses that can't go out and nobody takes care of them or brings them meals. Scream about the people in the nursing homes that are being mistreated. Our hospitals. Do you ever go into my mommy's hospital? You have to wait sometimes an hour or 2 hours before anybody even looks at you. Then you have to sit in the emergency room for a day. And the care upstairs sometimes is horrendous. Why aren't we watching this? Why aren't we monitoring this? I want to create civilian committees that will watch developments. I want to take private citizens, create and watch the Department of Buildings. I want them to watch the schools. I want to take independent groups and watch the community board and say, no, you're not going to change the laws and screw my people in my community. You're not going to break sidewalks whenever you feel like it. You're not going to renovate parks till the whole community approves it. And yes, we will force you sometimes to do it. But I want you to watch Avenue F and McDonald Avenue. I mean, this is a shame. They dug up 30 blocks of my neighborhood, repoured the concrete, you should see it, and still Avenue F just needs what? A square block of concrete, and they can't do it? I'm going to not my grandchildren or children or nephews and nieces have nowhere to play like 18th Avenue? Yes, I know, David. Walk to 18th Avenue. I'll walk 20 minutes to go to the park, the beautiful, gorgeous $2 million park that you made, so I can go play there instead of walking 2 blocks to the local park by me. This is unacceptable. And this is the second time he did 18th Avenue, by the way. It's not your problem. So are you taking credit for it or don't take credit for it? Are you monitoring it or you're not monitoring it? City councilman must have his hands in everything in our community. He must take care of that no bus service. And I know people have argued with me that no bus driver could push the button and take a camera and give you a ticket. I got one. And Chaim Deutsch told me that there was a guy in the bus lane who kept getting tickets. He got like 60, 70 of them because he was driving there or trying to make a turn and he couldn't make the turn. How does an incompetent bus driver who has no knowledge on how to give tickets, but he knows how to drive a bus, he's able to issue a ticket because he can push a button? And you can't fight it because here's the picture. Or when the flashing of your blinker didn't flash when that camera was taken, you're automatically guilty. 90% the administrative law, the city wins. 90%. I used to beat them 90% of the time. Too much of a police. 90% of the time. And here's my favorite story before I go off the air. A young lady about 6-8 months ago was driving down 16th Avenue. She got into a car accident. And they called the police. The police checked the licenses and saw her license was suspended. What happened was in 2013 that she had a ticket. She paid it late, so it suspended your license. So she had to go to the DMV. They didn't send her a letter on it. They said, you will suspend it. So she paid her ticket and she thought it goes away. No, you have to drive in. You have to walk into the DMV and unsuspend it. She didn't know this. The cops took this married woman with 2 children in a car, I promise you, on a Friday, and cuffed her.
Wow.
I got the call. Nobody else. Where was your councilman and assemblyman and state senator? Heshy Tischler, got the call. Called the liaison, called these beautiful men at the Shine who came running, helping her. They came with open arms. They got her onto a DAT, a desk appearance ticket, took her home. Yes, it costed her $500 a lawyer. It costed her another $200 a fine, 2 days wasted work. Now, these cops couldn't understand that it was one suspension. What do you mean $300 you're going to tow my car or boot my car? The tickets are really only $100 each, $75 each. But the city charges interest.
So where did she get stopped?
She got stopped she didn't get stopped. She had an accident. Somebody hit her.
Where did it take place?
It took place right on my block.
Right on your block.
About a block or two away. And they called me to come running because nobody else. She was in cuffs.
And she was suspended without knowing it.
Without knowing about it. It's a foolish thing. And we should write letters. We should continue to write letters. You know, like the Department of Buildings, if you owe them a fine, they send you 900 letters. I swear to you. You know what I mean? They keep sending you pay. Oh, there you have no problem. Your violation is there. You have 19 different agencies that help the Department of Buildings. Oh, you know what? If you don't do it, you're going to get more fines. Why don't we have this way? They send it to collections. They give it to you know what a sheriff's job and a marshal's job is to service us in the community. You're having a problem with a tenant or somebody owes you money. His job is, so instead of you committing a crime, he helps you. Do you know what this city is? If you ever try to evict somebody and get a warrant for their eviction against a drug dealer or a bad tenant or somebody doing something bad, you can wait months. Now, if you owe the city money, they will come the next day.
They'll come.
Now, they work. This is unacceptable. Do you know one sheriff last year billed over $10 million? Wow. What a great job. But you know that he was working for the city, not for me. When I went there to try to collect my $300 or $900 from my tenant that I had a warrant and to evict it. No. You're going to be on the list. We'll see you in a month. Or your paperwork is not good. You forgot to X. Come back and do it again. Go notarize and I'm closing at 4 o'clock. You can't come back to the window. Government agencies are supposed to be open till 5 o'clock. I know that I work from 9 to 5, 9 to 7, 9 to 8. These guys at 3:30, their window closes. Do you know that administrative judges in the DOB, this is a fact. So I know I work with one and I tried to hire one. They get $5 for every case they rule against you. Now, if a judge does not have a 90% a ruling against you, they get fired. Unacceptable. This is the way the city runs it.
And that's the same thing with tickets.
With all the tickets like that. And I fought the city many times. And if you fight with them and beat them too much, they'll find a way to get rid of you.
There's no quota.
There's no quota.
You just don't hit a number. You somehow your job.
Get your question in 212-219-9695. About 4 minutes to go. Go ahead.
How do we have quotas even for tickets? If somebody does something wrong illegal, sure. But you know, there's a policeman. It's very funny. He stands on the corner he stands between Avenue J and on Avenue J between Ocean Parkway and Bay Parkway. This one block block and a half. To drive down this block is 15 minutes. Really. You stop. You actually stop.
What is he doing standing there?
He stands in a private driveway. And while you're stuck for 5 minutes, he's looking into your car. God forbid you have to unbuckle your seatbelt to bend down, or you picked up your cell phone from it because you stopped. You actually stopped for 5 minutes. He pulls you over, gives you a ticket, and causes more traffic. Now, he should be standing there moving traffic along. Instead, he's hindering traffic and making it longer from the 66th precinct. Is this crazy? Another guy.
Gotcha, Governor.
Another guy on Avenue
exactly
J.
right.
Another guy on Avenue J stands there to watch you with these little itty bitty no turning signs. Make them nice and big and green like on the highway. Instead, the little signs are dark. You can't see. I can't see so well in the dark. And he's busy screaming on his radio, pull over, or he's busy screaming, don't take the bike. You're in the wrong bike lane. That's what he's busy about. So when somebody's robbing my house, or like Dov Hiking screaming that they're painting SWAT stickers on my cars, why aren't you watching my cars? Why aren't you watching my homes? Why aren't you coming and taking care?
They have cameras.
Well, the cameras don't seem to be working. These are the things that I'm angry about. I'm worried about the issues of feeding my people, giving jobs to my people, educating my children, taking care of my senior citizens. I've been to thousands of homes. Sometimes I see people living in squalor. I cry. It hurts me. When I changed my direction in life, when I'm going to finish my radio show here, when I finished raising my family and I married my wife, I said to Linda, I'm done. I was 26 years old. My wife was pregnant. I said, Linda, I don't want to really be religious anymore. I'm done. People abuse me. They take from me. They con me. You know, there are rabbis out there that collect for themselves. I had a rabbi in my synagogue. He collected for a dying, sick cancer man. Instead, he stole the money for himself. But forget about that.
Right.
But I'm suing him anyways. But that's not the point. My problem that I have here is that I told my wife and my mother, I said, Mommy, it's 14 years I've made you the Seder. My father died 7 days before Passover. And when I got up from the Shiva, I had to make the Seder. And I made the Seder for 14 years. I hated making that Seder every year. It bothered me. And when my wife was finally married, I said, Mom, I'm done. I have my own family. I'm married off my brothers. I'm gone. My mother said, please, Heshy, stay one more Seder. I said, Mom, I'm giving you 15 minutes and I'm packing out. She says, no, it's Passover. I said, I don't care. I don't want to be religious no more. I'm done. My beautiful wife just sticks by me no matter what craziness I put through us. I don't know why. Again, thank you, Linda. Thank you. You're a good mother. You've taken care of me. You've gone through every craziness that I've done. I don't know why. And this is why I'm blessed. So that day, I said to my mother, and my wife was pregnant. We were going to have the baby in about a month. And during the Seder, I was flying. I was a pro.
Yeah.
I was making this 4 or 5 hours Seder in 15 minutes. I was so good. I did it in Hebrew, English, and Yiddish. And in the middle of the Seder, my wife gets up and says, the baby's coming. I said, no, sweetie, the baby's not coming. I'm telling the baby's not coming. I picked up the phone to the doc. The doc says, the baby's not coming. My wife says, the baby's coming. So I bend down, I put on her shoe. And as I'm putting on the shoe, plop. Up to my hands, this little nothing. I can't even describe what it was. Blood all over me. My wife passed out.
Yeah.
I thought the baby was dead. My wife was dead. My 70-something-year-old mother screaming in me, a Hungarian at something. I don't even know what it was. Blood all over the place.
Sorry for everyone that's eating.
And I thought I lost my whole
life. Dinner talk.
But my whole life was over at that moment.
Well, now we're going to do this thing, set it up and do this thing next Monday, same time, 7 o'clock. You got 20 seconds.
So to finish the story I saw there was a little boy. I saw he was crying. I was told not to rip the cord, and they came. I saw my wife get up, and then I heard the message. Now, I know you're going to laugh at me, everybody.
You're going off, Hesh.
I heard the message.
I'll see you 6 o'clock on Wednesday.
You change your ways. I have 60, 70 people in my house Passover. You're all welcome.
This is AM 930, WPAT Patterson.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson.